Hello. Good, that works. Hey guys, my name is Josh Horowitz. I work for MTV, but tonight I'm here to talk about war. War for the Planet of the Apes. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight here in New York for the premiere of War for the Planet of the Apes. You excited? Yes? Okay. That was an easy question. And I'm very excited that we are live streaming right now to, I believe, 17 Alamo Drafthouse theaters across the country. You guys are about to get a sneak peek at an epic film, a conclusion, perhaps, of a trilogy. I don't know. It's an amazing film. If you loved Rise, if you loved Dawn, you're going to absolutely adore War for the Planet of the Apes. As you can see, we've got a bunch of chairs here. So rather than listen to me talk about my love for this film, we're going to talk to the cast and creators. What do you think? Shall we? Okay. Okay. He came on board in the last film, and he did a remarkable job with Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Please give it up for writer, director, Matt Reeves. There would be no Apes franchise without this stellar actor. I have no superlatives to give that. I have no words for this man's performance in this film and the other films. Mr. Andy Serkis, Caesar himself. Joining the franchise this time around, he is an acting legend. He brings such menace, such amazing ability to this performance as the Colonel. Give it up for Woody Harrelson. A scene stealer, if there ever was one. This guy is remarkable. He's funny. He's soulful. Steve Zahn, Bad Ape. A new human character, though maybe familiar to fans of this beloved series. Give it up for Amaya Miller. And finally, if you know these films and love these films as much as I do, you know that the craftsmanship behind the camera is remarkable. Visual effects supervisor, senior visual effects supervisor, Joe Lettieri. All right, let's get right to it because time is short and there's a lot to ask about for this amazing film. Let's start with you, Matt. Coming off of Dawn, you could have gone in a lot of different directions with this storyline. Can you give me a sense of what you wanted to see, what the journey you wanted to see Caesar go on in this? What was the germ of the idea for this one?
Well, when I came in on Dawn, I had an amazing opportunity because they let me come in and talk about a story I want to do, and we did that. And then on the next one, they were like, let's try and do it on the same schedule. And I was like, well, we don't know what the story is this time. And Mark Baumbach and I did something that I think that people think Hollywood writers do, which they don't, but we just spent a long time watching movies to get inspired, talking about this story. And what we really wanted to do, here's the exciting thing, was knowing that we were going to come back and knowing it was going to be this guy, and knowing how incredible he was and saying, you know what, we're going to take Caesar on a journey which is going to be, in our minds, the one that pushes him into the realm of the mythic, the thing that makes him the legend. And that's really what we set out to do. It's like it's a little bit like an ape biblical epic.
And indeed for you, Andy, I mean, you have had this remarkable opportunity that you've certainly made the most of in playing a character basically from infancy to kind of a king in a way, a much beleaguered king. Is this the most challenging part of your career? And give me a sense of just sort of how this character has developed for you. How are you approaching Caesar differently this third time in?
Yeah, I mean, it is, and what is remarkable about performance capture technology is it does allow you to do these kinds of things. You know, it really is the greatest, I believe, the greatest actor's tool of the 21st century. Because, you know, where else would you get the opportunity to play a character from infancy, as you say, through to, you know, late maturity? And not only to see a character age, change with the situations, go from being a pure chimpanzee all the way through to an almost human-like character in terms of his emotions, to experience such, you know, such complex emotions and physical changes, and it is an actor's dream. And you know, when you get to work with brilliant storytellers like this guy here, you know, who truly understand the nature of performance, who go all out to create the atmosphere with which to tell a story that is going to hopefully resonate with an audience. It's just been, it genuinely has been one of the most exciting characters I've ever played.
For you, Woody, you are obviously new to the series. You got some really juicy scenes opposite Mr. Andy Serkis, the guy sitting to your right here. How quickly do you get over the performance capture of it all? Is that day one? Is there an hour or two where you're like, okay, this is a little odd, and then it's just acting? Give me a sense.
No, you get used to the peculiarities of the mocap, but it took a little more getting used to, just getting to act alongside someone who I think is one of the greatest living actors. Now that Daniel Day-Lewis has retired, he may be at the top. So that was a great experience, and you know, it's great to work with Matt. He's such a collaborator, and he likes to try things, and he is so invested in the performance, you know, cares about performance. It's not all about, okay, well, we got to situate things for this camera or that. He's not all about the technical. He really cares what we're doing. So all in all, it was a great experience, and I loved the first two and was so psyched to be a part of this one.
For those that have seen the trailers, they've already caught a glimpse of your character, Steve. You, the first moments from your character really just register. You immediately kind of fall for this character. Give me a sense of what the key in was to playing Bad Ape. Is there a key to kind of keying into that character?
I mean, he was so well written. It was just a gem of a part. I mean, I was floored to just be considered. They called me and said, you know, they were interested in you being a part of Planet of the Apes. I'm like, whoa. What would I play? What do you mean? Like, and they said an ape, and I'm like, what? But then I read the part, and the part was just beautiful. It was this very vulnerable guy who was tragic and had this really harsh experience that, you know, that he Caesar and him, you know, bond with this horrible experience of loss. And you know, I just thought of him as an audience member, this kind of guy who goes on this journey, who's always kind of peeking around the corner going, wait, we're going to go where? You know, and I just, I don't know. It was, man, every once in a while, you know, you get invited to the big dance, and it's in your career, and you hope it's a great one, and I'm so fortunate to have been invited to this one.
For you and I,
Matt, for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So for you and I don't think it reveals too much to say that you play a mute character in this. So that's got to be uniquely challenging. Is the audition process unusual for this particular role? What do you remember about your initial meetings about it?
So when I auditioned for Nova, I didn't know that it was for a Planet of the Apes movie. I just knew that it was for a 20th Century Fox movie. So the whole casting process, I did not know what was happening.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then I had.
You must have thought it was weird when I asked you to play with this ape.
Yeah, I was like, okay. But I had the audition, and then a few weeks later, I had a call back with Matt, and then a few weeks later, I booked it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Should always be that easy. There you go. Joe, I mean, the artistry that you guys bring to this, I was speaking to Matt earlier today, and I was saying, I mean, one of the great achievements of this, and I'm sure this is true for audiences that have seen any of these films, is that you immediately forget that you're watching this special effects laden film with thousands of man hours behind it. Is that a badge of honor that you still take, that like despite your hard work, the greatest thrill is hopefully nobody noticing it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was very fortunate. Andy and I got to work together back when we created Gollum. And just watching his performances on a small stage with no one but us there, like my goal was to just bring that to the screen, just to try to capture that. And we've been working at that ever since. And he just keeps getting better. We just keep trying to catch up. But that's the whole of what we're trying to do, is to just make you feel when you're watching Caesar that you're seeing this world through Caesar's eyes.
I'm curious, for you, Andy, we talked a little bit about, the opportunity to play this role a number of times. Is it easy at this point to kind of like switch on Caesar, to get into the voice, the cadence, he is more human, it's safe to say, in this one than he's been in the last two. I mean, it's not giant leaps, but they're there. Yeah.
No, I mean, with every stage, it is a different challenge. I mean, that's the thing. The character never stands still in terms of his emotional, path, his evolutionary path, and it was a constant re-examining and kind of recalibrating of how to play the role. And that's what's so brilliant about working with Matt. And it's all an investigation. It's all okay. If we move like 2 degrees to the right here, this is going to start feeling unreal, unbelievable. The way that Caesar speaks is going to start to feel, that it's a human, and yet too far this way, and it's like it's going to be a 6-hour movie, because he has to, speak a little quicker in this movie. But so it's all the time examining every single modulation of character turn, how to portray him emotionally, make his emotional intelligence kind of come through, his cognitive skills, his linguistic skill. All of that is. It's very rare that you get to play a character that is becoming more human-like, and that their base instincts in this movie, are actually going the opposite direction, where he's becoming kind of more animal in a way. So there's all of those things. So can I just say, actually, before I forget, there's a couple of people here, who are completely central to this process, hugely central to the filmmaking process, and one of those is an amazing guy called Terry Notary. Terry, you should stand up. This guy is responsible not only for playing Rocket in the movie to the highest level, and is a brilliant character in its own right, but he makes every single actor playing an ape shine. He's the movement coach. He is the supporter. He is there as a guru for everyone. And when we did our ape camps before the movie, each of the movies, Terry was leading the way, and he's an extraordinary force. And really needs recognition for the brilliant work he's done on all of these movies. And the other person is who's been with us along the journey is Karen Carnival, who plays Maurice. Karen got to know an orangutan 5-6 years ago. Was it 6 years ago, Karen? And still visits this orangutan and paints with it with him, and is just so engaged in the world, and has given so much to this character, and it's an extraordinary achievement.
Amazing. Steve, did you pick the brains of the likes of Terry and Andy in terms of like those first couple days or an ape camp? Like, what's the best piece of advice that kind of clicked in your brain to make this kind of performance work for you?
Well, it was really just it's simply tell the truth, simplify and be truthful. The minute you imitate, it'll be bad. And how do you be truthful? You have to really understand at its core what it is to be a chimp. Now, this is what we do as actors when we get parts, we try to strip it down, but it really scared me. I sat with Terry, who was brilliant and so encouraging, and I couldn't have done it without him, really, to sit and breathe for an hour and talk about what it is that makes us different from apes, which is minute, right? And and then to build on that, you know, and to get to the point of where you're not embarrassed anymore to just run around and be an ape in front of people you've not met, and you get to the point of where it's second nature so that you can play a character, because that's really what it's all about. And once you get to that point, I didn't even think about we were apes. I thought that we were talking about our kids. That's what I thought during the scene, which was really wonderful.
Well, you're in it together. There are dozens of you. I would think there's a communal bond. You're like, I'm going to jump off the cliff. If you jump off the cliff, we're in this together, right? I've got you, you've got me.
Totally.
Right. Yeah. Have you caught that bug, Woody? Would you want to do a motion performance capture role? Were you a little jealous, envious?
Yeah, I was very jealous. It was a real sore point for me. Really sore point. And no one ever, Andy not once did he say, here, try on my suit. Here, put some dots, take some dots on the face.
We don't know. You could have been in the performance capture suit the entire time playing yourself, just wasting the money of Weta.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah. Nobody ever mocaps and stays human. It's like weird. They just give that to the apes.
That's a breakthrough we just made here, guys. Matt, have you ever, I guess this is a question more for Joe. Joe, has Matt ever asked you to accomplish something that you've said, sorry, that's impossible? What you're asking is just beyond my skill set.
I don't think so, at least nothing that I can remember, because you're always trying to calibrate to what the story needs. Now, some things take longer than others. Some things you might not see until the week that you're trying to get the movie in the theaters. That happens, but you know, we try to get everything that he's asking for, because that's what the film's about.
On the last movie, there was a moment where Weta said, hey, you can have the apes, because I want to do a thing where they're spearfishing. And they said, I said, well, you know, they could get down in the water. And they said, yeah, he could get down in the water, but don't have him get out of the water. And I said, why? They said, we can do down in the water, but if they come back up, there's going to be the way that the water would come off of those legs, the way that would the fur would mat, the way the water would roll, those rivulets. Oh, we can't do that yet. And I was like, whoa, it was wild. And then, well, I said, but we have the opening of the movie is going to be in the rain. And they said, yeah, we'll have that. And they did by the end of the movie, and it's incredible. And then on this one, it was like, hey, we're going to go up in the snow, and suddenly, like, they have to figure out how to do that. It's incredible. They are just amazing.
Andy, do you? Absolutely. Looking back, Andy, do you have a favorite scene, moment from the three films that you can point to that you're most proud of in terms of what you brought, with the artistry that the animators brought, et cetera?
Well, it's interesting because one of the key turning points, I think, for me finding the character of Caesar goes back to Rise, and it was a moment when Caesar's been out in Muir Woods, been taken for a run out, you know, by the James Franco character, and they come back, and there's a guy walks past with a dog on a leash, and he suddenly realizes when James Franco's character goes to put the leash back on Caesar, he sort of tries to pull away from it, and then he takes him to the trunk of the car and opens up the trunk of the car, and Caesar's supposed to hop in the back like a dog, you know, and when we were working on that scene, I just immediately kind of felt that it was wrong that Caesar would get in the back of the trunk, and that this was the moment where he needed to sit in the back seat of the car. And for me, that was always such a massive turning point in understanding the character and actually thinking, I really believe I know who this guy is now, you know, and so I think, I mean, it's not one of the most dramatic moments or the most challenging emotionally, but it was the most significant in terms of truly understanding where the character was coming from.
I'm curious, you know, Matt, coming off of Dawn, which was so well received both commercially and critically, did that kind of, you know, bolster you in terms of taking even more chances? I mean, one thing that strikes me, Dawn was kind of a split POV, right? Like you were kind of like with the apes, but you were also with the humans. This time around, it's with the apes. It's Caesar's story, truly. Was that one kind of leap that you felt you could make after Dawn?
Yeah, I mean, I felt that they had done that in Rise. You know, you come to the movie and you think you're going to see, you know, like the 68 movie, it's going to be a point of view of the humans. And the secret of that movie by the end is that it's Caesar's story. And on Dawn, we tried to make that story as much Caesar's story as possible. And it was Caesar's story, but it needed to be split because there was a jump between Rise and Dawn that was so dramatic in terms of the humans' existence that it had to be explained. It was necessary to have those stories juxtaposed. But On this one, I felt like, well, that's done with, and people have gone with it. And not only that, the thing that they're relating to, the experience that you go on when you see these movies, is you become an ape by watching these performances and connecting emotionally. And I thought I'd love to do this purely ape point of view, and I was very lucky that everybody embraced that and said, let's do that. And it's been, I mean, it's the gift of this franchise. We've gotten to do things you don't get to do in normal blockbuster movies. And I think it's why I've been so blessed and lucky to have been invited to be a part of this franchise. It's been an incredible experience.
So I have good news and bad news for everybody. The bad news is the Q&A is over, but the good news is you're about to see an amazing film, War for the Planet of the Apes. Across the country, I know you guys are going to enjoy this. Spread the good word. It opens July 14th. I want to thank the cast and creators of War for the Planet of the Apes. Give it up one more time. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Vale here. So did you like that War for the Planet of the Apes video? Well, sticking with Caesar and his apes, did you know that Andy Serkis, Terry Notary and Karen Konoval are the only actors to be in all three of these Planet of the Apes trilogy? Serkis as Caesar, the chimp leader of the apes, Notary as Rocket, a chimp who is one of Caesar's most trusted and faithful followers, and Konoval as Maurice, an orangutan that, like Rocket, is one of Caesar's most trusted faithful followers. Now, this will be the 9th feature film in the Planet of the Apes franchise and the 3rd for the newly rebooted franchise. Director Matt Reeves is the second person to return to direct a Planet of the Apes film, the first being J. Lee Thompson. So, are you a fan of the old franchise or the newly rebooted franchise? Are you looking forward to this movie? As always, let me know in the comments below your thoughts. And remember to subscribe and ring the notification bell to always receive the latest trailers the moment they are online. See you next time. Bye!